What's up to all the fine people of YouTube? If you're a Dragon Ball fan, anime fan, or just a fan of mine, thank you for tuning in. I literally just walked in the house from watching the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. The movie literally just ended like 30 minutes ago and I rushed home so I can literally record this reaction and review for you. If you are new here, I am Ramy B. If you have not seen the movie, do not click away just yet. I'm going to talk generally about the movie and then I will let you know when the spoilers will start, so then you can click away. If you have already seen the movie, please stay tuned throughout this movie, and at the end, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite thing was of the movie and what's something that you wish was different or wasn't as good as you were anticipating. But let me get right into it. So the first thing, my first reaction from the movie, watching it all, I was used to the animation style of Dragon Ball Super, the anime, and in the beginning of the movie it was a little weird because it kind of had that old school vibe. I'm sure a lot of you seen the pictures and images from all the promo and things like that, so it definitely had a different style, and it was just getting used to more of the cartoonish style, not so much graphically advanced or anything like that. But I mean, regardless of that, the movie was such a beautifully visual movie. Throughout the whole movie as I was watching, the choreography is amazing. It's literally up there with those last few episodes of the Tournament of Power when Goku was fighting Jiren. The way they had the camera angles spinning and things like that, the fighting sequences, the choreography, I already said that, but all the fighting moves, they literally introduced a bunch of new fighting moves and a lot of new techniques, but just the color as well was amazing. And it was weird because like some parts when there was explosions and things, the explosions looked real, they didn't look animated. So I like how they kind of incorporated both like the real life looking things and then the cartoonish parts of it to make it into this really fine, beautiful, amazing masterpiece. Overall, the movie was super amazing. I can see how it fits into the story of Dragon Ball Super, like the anime, and I can see it going into the future of Dragon Ball Super. Personally, I think they should turn this movie into an arc of its own in Super so you can kind of get more in depth, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. If you haven't seen the movie, this is where you should probably click out because I'm going to talk about the movie now, and spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about it, so make sure you stay away. I have some points listed on my phone and my notepad that I'm going to be referencing just so I didn't forget and I can kind of keep my thoughts on track. But let's get started with all the review and spoilers and things like that. So I really love how the movie started off with a backstory on King Vegeta, Bardock, Frieza, King Cole, Broly, all of that. So it's kind of very similar to a lot of stuff that we already knew. You know, they changed a little bit of the story of Broly and how he was mad at Goku for crying. It was more that King Vegeta was jealous that Broly's latent power was so high and it could potentially surpass his son Prince Vegeta. So he wanted to exile him away, stating that he would become so powerful and he would be a threat to himself and the rest of the Saiyans and he would literally kill himself. So he exiled him out, and Broly's father literally left out to this deserted planet full of just these weird spider creatures, and he said he was going to train Broly there, literally until someone found them and was able to rescue them. Then you get to the part of Bardock returning to planet Vegeta because Frieza called all the Saiyans into the planet because he had some major announcement or something. You don't really know what's going on, but if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you knew that he was going to blow up planet Vegeta, and Bardock's kind of saying he has a weird feeling about it. Frieza's kind of scared of the legendary Super Saiyan, even though it's not real. He thought that Frieza was going to be, just to be safe, was going to annihilate the Saiyans. He literally put Goku in a pod and sent him out at night to planet Earth because planet Earth didn't have high power. It was a very primitive planet and they didn't have a lot of technology, and he knew Goku would be able to survive there and not be harmed. So he sent Goku out. Next day, Frieza comes out and then literally blasts the planet. They had a cool scene of Bardock kind of blasting Frieza's blast. It obviously didn't work. After the planet Vegeta blows up, it switches to some other Saiyans on another planet, and you see a kid Vegeta as well as a kid Raditz talking about how the planet blew up, and Raditz was like, I have a brother, I don't really care about him, and that was that. And then it fast forwards to current time after the Tournament of Power. I'm not really sure how far after the Tournament of Power it is. Vegeta did mention that the tournament barely ended and Goku was already trying to train and get stronger, so it seems like it was probably within a couple days of the Tournament of Power. They didn't really state specifically how long it was, but Goku did reference all the other universes having strong fighters and him wanting to become strong and train and be able to compete. I think he realized if Jiren is as strong as he is, imagine those other 4 universes that weren't involved in the Tournament of Power. So it kind of starts off there, and then Bulma gets a call on her little Apple Watch kind of thing. Trunks says someone broke into the lab, stole the Dragon Balls. They look at the tape, it looks like Frieza's people. Bulma already had 6 Dragon Balls and they took the Dragon Ball Raider, but she knew the 7th one was on the ice continent, Alaska, Antarctica, whatever it is in their world. So then they head over to that ice continent, and then it switches back to Frieza's henchmen were flying around looking to recruit more people into the Frieza army, and they found some planet that had a very, very high power. They go down, it's Broly and his father. They rescue them, take him to Frieza. So Frieza pretty much talks to them and realizes they have this vengeance that they want to get on King Vegeta and the Saiyans in general. So Frieza lets them know, look, I'll let Broly fight Vegeta, but leave Goku to me. He's the one that I want to kill. So then the camera switches over to Bulma, Whis, Goku, and Vegeta. They get to the ice continent and find out Frieza's henchmen got the last Dragon Ball. And then Frieza comes down in his ship with all his people. Broly comes out, Broly Broly's father. It's kind of funny because you realize Frieza's wish isn't to become immortal. Frieza stated that he hated being in Earth's hell and realized living forever would be very tormenting to him. So he wants to literally wish to be 5 centimeters taller. Not too much taller because everyone would notice that it's not right, but just something to look like it's gradual. Well, anyways, they get down, they come out, and then Frieza has the Dragon Balls, and then Broly's like, once he finds out that that's Prince Vegeta, he's like getting angry and everything, and then his father lets him go of Vegeta. So they start fighting in base form, and Vegeta's like, wow, this guy's pretty strong. Vegeta's easily kind of handling him, and then Broly ends up learning on the spot, and Vegeta was like, wow, this guy's literally adapting. Now, mind you, Broly's only trained on this planet with his father, who's very, very, very weak, and then with those weird creatures. So Broly's never really had a real fight or a real sparring partner. So the fact that he was able to learn while fighting Vegeta was really, really amazing. And then Vegeta turned Super Saiyan. Broly's father was like, what's that? And then Frieza was like, don't tell me your son doesn't know what Super Saiyan is. And then his father's like, oh, I didn't know that was real. I thought it was just a myth. And then Vegeta's winning. Broly powers up again. Vegeta goes to Super Saiyan God. So they finally gave him the red form, which they had originally for Goku. Beats Broly easily. Then Broly powers up some more. Goku's like, you know what, I need to jump in because you know how Goku is. So Goku jumps in, fighting in base form, is getting obliterated, and then switches to Super Saiyan, not really doing much, and goes to Super Saiyan God again, switches to the red form, and he's still getting beat up. And you kind of felt bad because Broly literally had him by the leg and was slamming him and looked like he was going to go unconscious, and Goku really had no answer. Like, he ended up throwing Goku, and Goku looked like he was out. Goku powers to Super Saiyan Blue and looks like he was pretty even with Broly, starts beating him a little bit, and then as the fight wore on, Broly was starting to get very tired and unable to keep up with Goku. It gets to a point where Goku literally beats Broly, and Broly's laying, like, Broly's not really laying there, but he realizes he has nothing left. And then Frieza was like, hey, is this your son's maximum power? And his father's like, yeah. And then Frieza had a flashback to when he killed Krillin, and then the anger made Goku turn Super Saiyan. So he shot Broly's father like in the heart with his little beam ray, and then he yells out to Broly, one of the stray energy attacks killed your father. So then Broly got really angry, and that's when he like transformed to a Super Saiyan, but his anger and his power was so high. And then Vegeta had to jump in. He switches to blue, so him and Goku are both fighting Broly together, and obviously they're not doing much, and Broly's easily handling his weight. It looked like kind of when Jiren was fighting them, and they couldn't really do anything about it. And then they realized that they have to do something else, so they fly. The funny part was they fly towards Frieza, and then Broly starts switching off and fighting Frieza in Frieza's base form, or his like main form. They transport off, instant transmission off to Piccolo, and then Frieza's getting killed, destroyed, and then he switches to the golden form and is like, this is the last thing you're gonna see. Then you go back to, again, Vegeta never wants to fuse with Goku. Then he realizes, you know what, he has to. He learns the dance. They fused the first time, they did it wrong, they were fat. They had to wait 30 minutes, fuse again, they were too skinny, and then they did it right. So really in an hour and a half, Golden Frieza was literally holding his own. Well, not really holding his own, he was getting destroyed by Broly, but he somehow managed to survive. So then Gogeta, they obviously come, they transport over to where the fight is, and then this part really excited me, and I wish they showed more of it. Before the movie, I was literally texting my friend, and I was like, this would be so cool if it happened. But Broly started attacking Whis, and we don't really know how strong Whis is. We know he's one of the angels, and they're stronger than the gods of destructions, but we really don't know how strong. But Broly was going all out on Whis, and Whis was like dodging it with his little, his little cane thing and dodging everything, and then Gogeta jumps in, and they start fighting him. Base form, they go Super Saiyan, and then they go Super Saiyan Blue, and that's when Broly reaches like the legendary Super Saiyan, where it's like that shade of green. And then at that point, you could tell Gogeta was definitely outclassing Broly. Broly doesn't have the pedigree, I want to say, or the experience in fighting strong opponents. He just has a lot of raw power but doesn't know how to channel it, and he doesn't know how to control his energy. So he's literally just acting really wild, destroying everything in his path, trying to fight everything. And then Gogeta, that's when all the good fight moves come in, and they do these cool spins and cool attacks, and they pretty much are destroying Broly. It looks like you're getting to a point where Broly's gonna die. And then the two henchmen that found Broly grabbed the Dragon Balls and wished for Broly to go back to his planet and to go back to normal. So when Gogeta was given his final blast that was really gonna kill Broly disappeared. So then after that wish, the henchmen literally tried flying away. Frieza was trying to blast them, and Gogeta grabbed Frieza's arm and was like, not today. So Frieza stated that he's gonna come back to Earth and destroy the Earth and the Saiyans like always, and then flies off. And that's pretty much where kind of the movie is close to its end. You see that those two henchmen are gonna go over to that planet where Broly is, because they're like, we'll stay with him. We realize his father was like abusing him psychologically, physically, just turning him into a war machine, even though Broly seemed to have a really nice side, and they said that they kind of wanted to be with him. Frieza at that point was like, we're not gonna go disturb him. Let's let those two henchmen pretty much tame Broly and make him calm down and be able to understand his power and control it. That way Frieza can recruit Broly into his army to defeat Vegeta and Goku. Frieza, I think, realized that he was no match match for Broly, and that he needed Broly to be in a controlled manner so he could get his revenge. Then what happens is you see Beerus was like, oh, they really were able to handle it, no big deal. And then the ending of the movie was they were on the planet, and then Goku shows up using instant transmission. They're like, how did you find us? He was like, I can, you know, lock into the key. He goes in, he gives them those little capsules. One of them is a house. He gives them food, water, and everything. And the henchmen were like, you're still an enemy even though we don't know who you are, and we're not going to befriend every Saiyan that we see. And Goku was like, that's fine. And then he looks at Broly and he was like, you know, I want to come back and spar with you. You're very strong, and now I'm very excited. Typical Goku stuff. And it looked like Broly kind of liked it. He was like, I want to train you and train with you. There's a lot I want to teach you. And Broly was very receptive to it, and the henchmen kind of were. And I think that they left that off at a really good place. So the cool part was at the end, Goku, when he was leaving, the henchmen were like, what's your name? And he said, my name is Goku, but for you can call me Kakarot, which was really cool because he's a Saiyan as well, and Goku likes that camaraderie. And I think Goku learned from his past and just through all of Dragon Ball, the series, that Saiyans can be nice. And it's good to see that now he wants to kind of be with Broly and teach him and pretty much turning him into a good person. And I think that's great to be an ally of Universe 7, because now you have Vegeta and Goku who are super ultimately strong, and then now you're gonna have Broly joining in, who if he trains and he learns to control his power, he could be just as strong, if not stronger. So I think that's really cool for the future. I really hope that somehow in the future arc they are able to have Jiren, because now that we know all about the universes, like Goku, Vegeta, and Broly go to Universe 11 or whatever, and then Broly gets to spar with Jiren. From what it seems like is Jiren is much stronger than Broly, just because he is much more of a controlled fighter. He has more technique. He's literally studied his whole life. Broly just has a lot of raw power. I still would have liked to see Wiz kind of getting involved and not necessarily fighting, but you know, giving a couple marks, catching some punches and things like that, just to really see how strong he is. And I think that they should turn this movie into its own arc, kind of how they did Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, because now we can get more in depth into the history of the Saiyans. I would have liked to see a little bit more on Bardock. That part was really quick, maybe like 10 minutes, and just a little more backstory. But what really fascinates me that I want to see in an arc is how Broly was training on this planet, because he was literally training with his dad, who was super weak, and then those monsters who didn't seem to be that strong either. So I want to see kind of what he was training and how he was able to get his power so high, and how his father was able to get that neck thing around him to be able to control him. So a little bit of backstory of that, and I would have liked to see a much more extended fight. I would have liked to see Gogeta's fight with Broly be a little bit longer than like 5-10 minutes and really extend it out. But overall, it was an amazing, incredible movie, much more than I was expecting, much more than I was anticipating, and it seems from all the reviews that it was, a lot of people loved it. It was literally the best Dragon Ball movie ever made. The animation, like I mentioned, the colors, the cinematography. I watched it in XD, so I had a much bigger screen and better speakers, so it was great. And honestly, I might go see it again. I'm not sure yet. I got a lot of stuff coming up, but if I have the time, I definitely will go see it again. But I definitely give this movie a 10 out of 10. It definitely quenched like my thirst of Dragon Ball, since we haven't had any new episodes since March. And now I'm just waiting until the anime comes back, because we have no idea when it's coming back. There's no date or anything like that. But oh my god, amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. If you've already seen it, definitely in the comments leave down below what did you like about the movie, and what was something you wish was changed, or something you didn't really like so much. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm being long-winded and I'm talking like crazy. So thank you for tuning in. Once again, if you are new here, make sure you click subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing weekly reactions to Dragon Ball Super, or whatever they call it when they come back, since this is really something that I'm very passionate about and love watching and talking about. So thank you very much to everyone tuned in. Subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you thought of the movie. And yeah, until next time, until another Dragon Ball comes out or whatever, I will catch y'all later.